What's cracking, yo? This is B-Real from Cypress Hill, chilling on Hard Disc with Dando.
Hey guys, Dando here for Torrent This. Now, I am joined on the line by a member of one of hip-hop's most acclaimed groups. They're the highest-selling Latino rap group of all time, have hits such as Insane in the Brain, which has just become a global phenomenon, and will be playing in Melbourne this February at not only the Soundwave Festival, but also a sideshow at the Forum the night before on February 28th. I'm of course talking about the legendary Cypress Hill, and I'm lucky to be joined by the one and only B-Real. B-Real, thanks for your time, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries, dude. What's been happening today?
Just got down to the studio here, and we're going to do a little bit of work today.
Yeah.
We have a broadcast studio for live streams, and we also are finishing out the build-out on our recording studio here. So, we're getting it up and running, and that's what we're doing today.
Yeah. Well, how's 2013 been treating you so far anyway, man?
So far, it's pretty good. It's mellow, relaxed. We just came off a tour about a month ago. We've been off and on for like maybe 4 months or something like that. Just pretty much touring. So this little bit of chill time before we go out to Australia has been very good.
Yeah.
Been able to, jump back into home life and just relax for a second.
Well, how'd you spend your New Year's Eve this time round?
Oh, I spent it real mellow. I was at home. I did nothing, actually.
Okay.
One of very few times,
Yeah. Well, when was the last time you were down here in Australia? Was it, 2010?
Yeah. We were down there. We did a number of shows, and I believe it was right when we released our Rise Up album.
Yeah.
We were out there and went and had some fun down there in Australia, man. It's always great to go do gigs down there. People are great, It's never one of those things where like, we're going to Australia. Forget. No, it's always like, yeah, we're going to Australia. Let's go. It's great. So, we got excited when we realized that we had gotten invited to do the Soundwave festivals and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's always an honor to go back there and rock it for the Aussies.
What's the first thing that pops into your head when you hear the word Down Under?
Man, I don't know. I never thought about it like that, but I always think of it as a more relaxed California.
Yes.
In the States, they all say California's relaxed, like it's really relaxed, like
Yeah.
mellow. And when you go to Australia, if you're from California, it's even more relaxed.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I guess stay down under. I guess I figure like relax.
Yeah. Have you got any favorite moments from being in Australia?
There was a show we played. We were doing a tour with Ice Cube back then. It was in, I think, 93, 94. And, we were co-headlining some shows out there with Ice Cube. And we felt like, man, we got to do something crazy, because we were just crazy back then. Not to say that we're not crazy now, but we were really crazy back then. And we got to do something at the end of the show that stands out, something. And I don't know which one of us brought it up. I can't remember if it was Muggs, me, or Sand or Bobo. We were like, what if we go out like the Who? And we're like, So at the end of the set, when we got to We Ain't Going Out Like That, which was the song that we were ending with, we lit Bobo's congas on fire, and then we smashed the turntable just like the Who do it, and it made the news out there and everything, and that was one of the most memorable moments for me down there.
That's awesome, man. Well, the gig at the Forum is the day before Soundwave. Are you just going to use that show as like a warm-up for the festival? Like, can we expect 2 different set lists, or?
I think the Soundwave will be a shortened set list in comparison, so maybe the Forum show will be a slightly longer set list, a slightly longer version of what we do. But, either way, we're going to rock it like it's the first and last show, you know what I mean?
Can we expect shit being set on fire this time around?
I don't know. I know one thing that's going to be set on fire for sure. See that big ass joint that I got rolled for the show.
That's awesome. Should we expect any new material on this visit, or are you taking a break from songwriting?
Well, we're going to be working on new material just before, but I don't think it'll be, ready to be played and stuff like that. And rarely do we do that before something's mastered, because with hip hop, people steal the shit.
Yep.
So, we'll be playing probably new stuff off of our Rusco EP and whatnot. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do some stuff out of Rise Up, and we'll do some old school shit too. I think a little bit of everything. We try to give everybody a little bit of all of Cypress Hill in what short time we might have. I don't know how long our set list will be, but either way, man, we're gonna give them a dose.
Yeah. Before Real Estate was even like a finished song, before you guys were even called Cypress Hill, you performed at a talent contest, and after the judges looked at you disgusted, Sendog jumped on the table and grabbed his balls, and then the table broke. Did you just piss yourself laughing at that point?
I tried to keep it together, because not only did he jump on the table and grab his balls, but he grabbed his balls in front of the middle judge, which happened to be a female. And then when he jumped off the table broke and landed in her lap. So it was like, that shit was badass. Like, do his background vocals and stuff like that, and not keep from laughing. Needless to say, we didn't win that contest.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
But it was a great moment.
I'm sure it was. I wish I was there. But besides that, what's the most absurd thing you've ever seen Sendog do?
The most absurd thing I've ever seen Sendog do? I haven't seen him do something absurd on purpose. It usually happens by accident. There was a time at the Coliseum, the Los Angeles Coliseum, downtown Los Angeles, and we played this lowrider show. It's called the Lowrider Super Show that they used to do. I think they still do it. It's a very big show. It's a automotive type of thing. Lowrider cars, models, and they put on concerts too. So it had been raining, and there was a big puddle in the walkway to go to the stage, from the stairs to the walkway to the stage. And there was a big puddle there, and you had to either walk on it or jump over it, because it's kind of a big puddle. And I found another way around it. Sendog didn't follow me. He tried to jump over the puddle, and he landed on the end of the puddle, and he slipped, and he pancaked right on his back. It was, it happened in front of 30,000 people.
That's awesome.
Really too much, because his back was all wet after that. But
that is awesome.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the other time, that was it right there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the whole nasal thing was just a discovery whilst messing around in the studio. Obviously, it's one of the best decisions you've ever made in your career to go with it. What would you say is one of the worst decisions you've ever made in your career?
One of the worst, huh? Jesus. That's a hard one to fucking figure out right now. I think, it's a matter of opinion, but for me, I don't think we've ever made any bad decisions on the business aspect of Cypress Hill, with Sony in regards to how we handle our business with them, or publishing, or any of that sort of shit like that. I think we've always had our business covered. For me, it was more of a personal thing. I think the worst thing for me was maybe, and it's not as bad as anyone would think, because this is very minor and it's very fucking, I guess maybe vain, but I did a track called Get the Fist with a bunch of West Coast rappers, all the heavy hitters at that time, and it was produced by DJ Pooh. And when he gave me the beat, there was a different beat, so I wrote the song to that beat, or I wrote my part of the song to the beat he gave me. As the production of I totally didn't like the way, and I totally didn't like the way that I sounded on the beat. So that song forever haunted me. Whenever I heard it, I would hear it, hear like my pocket, because a pocket is like a rhythm within the beat.
Yeah.
There's a few different ways to rap in that pocket. There's ahead of it, right on it, and in back of it. And some beats sound good certain ways, and some beats don't. And for me, for that particular verse, I didn't sound like the way that I wanted to on it. So it always fucked with me. So that was probably the worst decision I made, was to, write to that beat and then, not follow up and say, hey, can I check with you? Can I check how it sounds? Now, to know that he flipped it to a different beat, because then I would have went and rapped to that particular beat and not the one that he gave me originally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not all your fault.
That shit lives forever. It's like when you were a kid, right? Or when you were a young man and you had your fucking homies around, and there was an ugly chick that you didn't fucking tell your homies about that you fucked around with, and then one of them found out. Hey, look, he fucked around with this ugly chick. Do you see this? And never let you live it down forever. To me, it's the equivalent.
That's awesome. All right, just a couple more questions, man. I'll let you on your way. I know you're a busy man.
Excuse me, this is the operator. You have 1 minute remaining.
Sure. It's what advice do you have for all aspiring songwriters and musicians?
Just be yourself. You know what I mean? Whatever your vibe is, do that, as opposed to what a lot of artists these days do, which is try to do the other guy's vibe.
Yeah.
To sell records, to just get the rotation and whatnot. To me, music has always been the best when it's unique, when it's distinct, when it's its own vibe, when you could tell this group, and not like a copy of that particular thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's very hard with rap music these days because all the shit sounds the same. But yeah, to me, it's like there's a bunch of variables, a bunch of different elements that bring on longevity and all that stuff. And, you got to practice your craft, write every day if you can, perform all the time. Even if you're just practicing the performance, and just be open and don't follow any trend.
Yeah, that's exactly right, dude. All right, guys. Well, make sure you do not miss the chance to see Cypress Hill at either the Forum on February 28th or at Soundwave on March 1st. And for the latest news and info on the guys, you can either like their Facebook page at facebook.com/Cypress Hill or like Be Real at facebook.com/Be Real of Cypress Hill. Once again, dude, thanks for your time. I really do appreciate it. And good luck with the rest of your year.
All right.
Catch you later, dude.